My people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Today we are doing a crypto face-off of two of the juggernauts on the blockchain, Solana and Binance. I'm going to let you know which one I think is the better buy to make money when you learn how to trade like a boss. So if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as a crypto trader. I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you get to profit as a result, and today is no exception. So if you haven't done it already, hit your notifications, like the video. I come on the air when I see is money to be made in the market, and that's what we about to do. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's go ahead and make this money. First things first, we do have a free Bitcoin giveaway every Friday. I'm giving away free BTC. All you need to do if you want to win, text JOIN, JOIN, to 202-988-1079. Again, a new winner every Friday from the people that text in and join that community. In addition to that, you could just leave me a comment the good old-fashioned way. So you got two chances to win. First way, text JOIN to 202-988-1079. Second way, just leave a comment on this video. I'm going to come on the air Friday, pick somebody from the text in, and then pick a random video, a random comment, and that both of those two people will win some free Bitcoin, right? Back in the day when I was giving away Bitcoin, not too many people even had a wallet set up. And so I figure if I can give Bitcoin away, then at least you got to download the wallet. You got to figure out, how to set it up. You got to do a public address, all this good stuff. You have to basically self-educate to participate. And I think that's one of the biggest opportunities of the moment is to really relearn, what it means to be financial savvy in today's digital economy. Bitcoin is digital money. We live in a digital world, and we know, hand over fist that the market valuation is going to continue to increase over time. So now I wanted to take a look at Binance, BNB. Keep in mind, I'm trading this for Bitcoin. When Bitcoin is in a bull market, up and to the right, you want to measure your altcoins in Bitcoin, because when this chart is up and to the right, you know what that means? That means it's making you more Bitcoin per IOTA unit time, right? And Bitcoin, as we know, makes you more dollars per IOTA unit time because of inflation, right? Don't believe me? Just go back and watch Home Alone. A lot of people don't know this, but Home Alone actually has an inflation index built into it, right? Because it was a scene when he went into the grocery store, right? And yeah, here it goes right here, right? He went into the grocery store and they scanned all these different items and it came up to like $20, right? But today, that same ticket list will be $70, right? An increase of 250% over the course of our lifetime, right? That's real-time inflation. Keep in mind, it's very, very difficult to get some type of standardized barometer for inflation, because the inflation, household goods basket that they use to measure it, they always change it. So in order to accurately measure or correlate information over time, you need a standard unit of measurement. And so they keep changing the basket, and it's like they know that nobody's going to be able to look forwards or backwards to measure the decreasing cost of the dollar. But this kind of stands in time, because this was a moment, it was a snapshot. It's like 20 different items on the little shopping cart that he went through the store and got all these different things. And today, those same items cost 250% more. That's all the more reason why you want to measure your asset valuation in something that is increasing in value, right? BNB over BTC, we can see this thing definitely was a very, very, very strong chart. Again, up and to the right is the direction you're looking for. This method I'm using is called the boss method. If this is your first time seeing it, just make sure you subscribe. I'm releasing a course to teach you how to utilize this methodology. I've just about perfected it, over the past few years. It's based off fractals, statistical forecasting, and sacred geometry, and it really allows you to look inside the charts to see the different waves that's forming, right? This is kind of like the major cycle that Binance has built into it. It's, right there from the early days, right? 2018, 2019, with that energy right here, you get all the energy that has been dissipated into this chart over time. We capped out between the 4.6 and the 4.2, as is standard, for these big breakout cycles. We compressed all the way down, bounced off the 1.6, which is a traditional area to recover in any correction, and now we're consolidating north of the 2.2, between the 2.2 and the 2.4. Basically, kind of like these little middle bands is like the middle of the chart, like the mean, right? It's pressing to the mean. One thing I wanted to show in this video, and I kind of like having that up there because it kind of shows like these levels very, very cleanly. What's interesting about Binance is, I don't want to say it's not fair, but there is a direct correlation between the day that CZ stepped down, basically pled guilty to the different charges that he was facing, and he stepped down as CEO. To be honest, he was probably one of the best CEOs I think the cryptoverse has ever seen. And it's unfortunate that we have government authorities that want to escalate their presence, and they took that opportunity to, hold him accountable for their jurisdiction, right? I say all that to say, I don't think this company is bad. I think this is just the market reacting negatively to some very unforeseen news, right? But as I mentioned, we have a cycle that we completed over here that still has resonance. And so even though the future is uncertain, I think this is still a pretty good chart compared to most other cryptos. If you just look over time, up and to the right, especially since beginning of 2024, that's a strong chart, right? And now that I look at this thing, he admitted in 23. What's interesting here is this descent started all the way back in 22. So I feel like the insiders knew something wasn't right, and they kind of started selling this thing off. Because I remember in like early May, you start to hear like him getting pulled into some stuff with Binance, and that was the big sell-off. I think this is when it started to go public. But before that, you could see like the VC people were well aware that there was trouble in the water, right? But since then, it's had a pretty cool recovery, right? So that's great to see for Binance. I think when you start to compare it, and then as it turned out, he only got like 4 months, so it's not too bad. But still, I wouldn't want to go to jail prison, especially if it's a federal prison. It depends on where he went. For 4 months, that could be a long time, But when you got good friends in high places, you have minimal consequences for your actions, right? When you compare both of the chains direct, right? This is ChainSpect right here. Pretty cool real-time comparison. Solana is kind of the juggernaut when it comes to transactions per second, as we're going to see. Binance is really a smart contract that I think it was really built to not only allow kind of like an alternative ERC20 network capabilities, and then the smart chain, so converting money, to the USDC, and then also their utility token for the exchange. So it had it kind of like some primary uses, I think, that it facilitates pretty well. But Solana, when you talk about transactions per second, this thing is literally off the charts, right? Is just built different, right? This is from CoinGecko talking about the fastest blockchain. Solana has proven to be the fastest among large chains, reaching a high of 1504 average daily transactions per second. So 1,500 transactions a second. This thing was running on April 6th the entire day. Average for this day right here was about 1,000, but as you can see, that leads the entire cryptoverse, right? Top 25 chains, Solana is definitely light years ahead of much of the cryptoverse when it comes to how fast it's sending information back and forth across the blockchain. Ton is making a ton of money, so it's interesting to see the metrics on that coin. And then you have some legacy coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Gnosis, Phantom. This surprised me. Crypto.com utility token is pretty high up that list. You got AVAX, and then TRX, Polygon. And then Binance is right there. So number 1 and number 3 when it comes to transactions per second, right? But again, I think one of the things you need to realize is where Solana is at right now. It said it processed 91 million transactions in a day, right? The entire credit card industry for the United States was 150 million per day. I really don't like how this always comes up. Like, goodness gracious. Don't do that, please. Thank you. Sorry. I'm like, wow, why does it keep doing that? So yeah, 2022, right? 150 million. And that's for everybody, right? That's for Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, all of them. Right? Solana got more than half of that just on one chain. So it's pretty crazy, like the utility that it has already. It's amazing to see, right? You also look at some of the adoption numbers. This is the block. New number of new addresses on Solana. This is almost, standard for being identical with the price, right? The general idea is the more people that have a coin, the more value it will be because supply is limited, right? Just basic supply and demand. This was a chart I did a few days ago. We could just redraw it real quick. It's really just one quick cycle right there. What I like more about this chart is you can see that it's already had one clear, actually that was the first one, right? So this is really the third cycle that it's going on, right? And not saying it's going to go all the way up there, but this is a new pivot, right? And this is what I showed in that video. I'm like, just the same as you can do this, and you get that first cycle. When you start to come over here, this is where the next cycle will be coming into play, right? So now, over time, right, we kind of have these different projection lines built into this thing that will just scale up and to the right, as the chart continues to mature and enter its next phase of existence. I think it's really, really cool that we get to see how these economies unfold within just a few years. I mean, just looking back, back in 2018, 2017, even right there, 2020 to 2021, like this was the entire world. This was all Solana knew, right? Everything inside this blue box, right? For the better part of a year. And so just comparing that one section, but then even still, if we want to go back, right? We can go back on a 343. I don't know if it's going to let me. This is pretty slow right now. right? But there are levels in this one little section, right, that resonate with the entire chart. Like you see, I just drew breakout to breakdown, but naturally it shows you the capstone of the next segment. You see that? And when you take that same line and start to extend it up here, then you start to get energy cycles of the next section, right? And this is what I tell you, like this methodology I use, like this ain't no joke. You see, I'm just freestyling on a Fibonacci right now, but the entire chart is synonymous with harmony. That's kind of how the universe works. Like you tap into the frequency and you could just see the waves, how they come together, right? And the 343 is the prime numerology that makes it all possible. So it's, you know, amazing to kind of see how this stuff comes together. And as I mentioned, the boss method, you know, this methodology that I'm showing you guys right now is something that I've been working on over the past few years. Like you can see, I don't even look at the candles, right? That's just noise to me, is you know, unnecessary volatility, greed, fear, greed, fear, greed, fear. But when you have that trend, you know, and you anchor that into a pivot point and you do that 2 or 3 times, like you can't get around that. Like one tweet ain't gonna change it, you know. And that's why it's unfortunate, I think, to see Binance's chart struggle so bad. But you know, when your CEO leave the office in handcuffs, you know what I'm saying, Wall Street can only respond so many ways. So I think both charts are, you know, optimistic opportunities, but I think Solana kind of has the advantage because, as I mentioned, it's on, you know, a new cycle. It's already had one great run, and now it looks like it's starting to turn the corner to start another cycle, you know. And that's how these fractals work. It's like you get one cycle right here, you know, the 2020 cycle, then you had another cycle right here that was, you know, our big boom, and now we can have the next one, you know, take this thing all the way up. And where would that be if we wanted to look at it? That would probably be like up here. Yep, it would. Right? And that would be somewhere for the next cycle, right? So I think Solana is much more ahead in its development. I think it has already proven the utility that it's bringing to change the world, and as a result, I give them the advantage in this opportunity. I think, you know, if the you know, past had been a little bit different, Binance would probably still be leading the market with growth. But now, you know, it's some new chains that's getting a lot of that money. And I know one thing about Wall Street, that money does not stay on the sideline for very long. So once they pulled it out of BNB, it's got to go somewhere else. And this is one of the places you can kind of see that received a lot of attention as of late. So there you go, everybody. That's what I got for you. That's Binance versus Solana. If you appreciate this video, I certainly do appreciate you. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. If you have any coins that you want to see me do charts on, just leave them in the comment. Again, by doing that, you automatically enter to win some free Bitcoin. Every comment is a new chance to win on each video that I do. And then last but certainly not least, we got a free Bitcoin giveaway every Friday. It's just that easy to get paid. Text JOIN to 202-988-1079. So with that being said, everybody, it's that time of the day. Signing out. Boss. Boy BK, no matter where you stay, Brazil to Bay or California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player one time. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again. Stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss. Huh.